Hey scrappers, if you're looking to figure out what materials you should sell this week or hold this week, now is the time to do it. Our weekly report is going to give you that information, up-to-date market news, pricing. Let's get right into it and we'll talk about it inside. Hey scrappers, today is Wednesday, April 26th, 2023. So happy that you're joining us. You might not be happy about some of the news that I'm going to give you, but I'm very happy that you're joining us. We've been having lots of great interactions online. And don't forget, if you're looking for more scrap knowledge, we have a YouTube membership where you can get videos that no other scrappers get publicly. We produce these when we have big market swings or some kind of special secrets that we like to share. So please check that out by all means. We have our YouTube membership on there as well. Markets. Let's just jump into what's going on because it's not anything good. Last Wednesday or Thursday when we did the report, or the day after, copper prices hit $4.17 on a trading level. Today, they're at $3.85. So we're having a 32-cent decrease in 1 week. Now, what's happened? The US dollar has strengthened, and that has happened because the interest rates are up. And some people may say, well, how are all these things connected? Well, when the interest rates are up, that means that the banks, it costs more money for the banks to borrow money from the federal government or the Federal Reserve. So now they charge their customers more money for car loans, mortgages, business loans, etc., which means the interest going to the banks is higher. Going to the federal government is higher, means that we're taking money out of circulation, right? So if you had a mortgage that was 2.5% a few years ago, and now it's 6.5%, every dollar that you're making, more of it is going towards your mortgage or your business loan or your truck or car loan. So now the federal government is taking money out of the system. By taking it out of the system, there's less dollars out there, which strengthens the US dollar. A strong US dollar generally shows commodity prices decreasing, and that's what we've seen over the last few weeks with the interest rates continuing to go higher when they have their monthly meetings, and they're expecting another interest rate hike in May of 25 basis points again. So again, that's going to increase the interest rates again, taking more money out of the system, increasing the strength in the US dollar, but unfortunately could decrease the strength of commodity prices. Now, for commodity prices to go opposite and increase in value, what do we need? Generally, we don't need any talks of recession. Well, we have those, so that's going to hurt the markets. What we don't need is higher oil prices. Well, we have those, and with Saudi Arabia talking about 500,000 barrels, 500,000 barrels a day being cut out of their supply starting in May, along with other countries decreasing their overall supply, we're going to see oil prices going into the summertime increasing. They're around 80, 82 bucks right now. It won't shock me to see them quickly by the 4th of July jumping over $90, $95, which means gas prices are going to go up about 50 cents. Things are going to become more expensive. So that's not something that's going to be positive on the commodity side. It's going to cost more money to transport goods, to refine goods. Again, another negative. What else would cause commodities to go up? A strong world market, which we don't have either. We're seeing trade, we're seeing growth, but we're not seeing major growth across the world. As you know, I haven't mentioned COVID in a long time, but when you have 3 years of slow, it doesn't just have a flip, get switched over, and then we start having a rapid acceleration of growth. It doesn't happen that way. So we're not going to see that helping the markets anytime soon. So do I think we're going to see markets going down $1 per pound? No, I don't think that's going to happen either. I think what we're going to start to see going into the summertime is a copper market that's probably going to fall a little more, maybe in the 350 to 375 range. So don't be surprised if these things happen. You know, in a 1 week period of time, 32 cents a pound coming off of the trading levels, that immediately impacts the scrap prices at your yard. because regardless of what people think, scrapyard's profits are not really more than 30 cents a pound on copper, and that's before they have trucking and labor and things like that. So you're going to see immediate decreases, and that, of course, is one of the reasons you follow us every single week. In the coming weeks, we have new reports, new market trends, new reported prices that are going to be presented to you guys in a completely different way. And we're really excited about that, because you're going to start to see not only the reported prices, but how they're going to be impacting you. And the iScrap prices that we're going to start to present to you are going to have market price indicators, changes, and it's going to really help you learn about the markets on top of our weekly reports. So that's kind of on the copper side of things. I still recommend selling your copper and brass. I know some people are going to think that they're going to kind of have a buoy back up. Even though we saw the prices decrease, I still think that we may be going a little lower. So it wouldn't shock me. I go back and forth on how much you want to sell, but I know some people are going to disagree regardless of what I say. They're going to wait for $5 per pound or whatever. But right now, if you hold on to copper, you might get hurt short term. Long term, you'll probably make out, but long term may be 12 months or more until prices and markets really recover. Week over week, copper prices are down about 3.5%, 4% overall. So that's kind of where we are. We didn't see much upward swings in prices. Talk about some precious metals here. Gold price is still over $2,000 an ounce. Last I checked, it was $2,006, down a little less than 0.5%. We saw gold prices around $20.40 per ounce. So that's not bad. Platinum prices up. Platinum prices are up 2% week over week, and platinum prices are nearing 1-year highs, and that's kind of going along with gold prices. When people have insecurities in the markets, we saw the stock market go down multiple days in a row. They start to pile into things like gold and platinum, which are really good base precious metals. That's going to, of course, help the catalytic converter markets. But we have seen palladium down about 5%, and we've seen rhodium go up 3.5%. So you have this up-down trend. But overall, week over week, we saw the markets go up slightly for catalytic converters. But one thing you really need to think about, we had rhodium prices at $28,000 per ounce not a long time ago, 12 to 15 months. So today we have 25% of the value from where it was. That has a huge impact on the catalytic converter prices. Palladium prices, they were over $3,000 an ounce. Today, less than $1,500 an ounce. Another huge swing in the prices. And don't forget, those two prices, palladium and rhodium, were at all-time record highs. So we're not going to see that jump right back to where it was, where platinum, on the other hand, has seen over $1,100 per ounce many times before, as it's really been a bellwether for a lot of people hedging their bets on the stock market or insecurities in the world markets overall. So just an idea on catalytic converters. So overall, what do we have for CATs? We have a strong market, about $112, $115 per CAT average on the OEM side of things. The team over at rrcats.com continuing to offer free price quotes, 10-day price lock guarantees, and free shipping on all OEM catalytic converters. So if you're looking to learn more about that, check them out. And all first-time sellers to rrcats.com in the month of April will be receiving a bonus once you hit $175 or more on your OEM shipments. What else is going on with the markets? We'll talk about steel market in a little while, but I want to give you another scrap story of the week. This one dates all the way back to about 30 years ago when I was a young boy. I was, I think, 8 or 9 years old, and I came to work with my dad for a week during the summer. So back then, I was paid $20 a day. I got McDonald's for lunch. Those were big things when you're an 8 or 9 year old kid. But you can't really work with all the men at that point. My dad wasn't comfortable having me bail siding and driving forklifts or things like that. So came up with other jobs. Many of you are old enough to remember the post offices years and years and years ago had lines and lines of all the P.O. boxes. But back then, they weren't aluminum ones, aluminum facing fronts like you see today. They were brass or bronze, and it was really cool. They had these gorgeous doors on them. Then there was little glass panels, so if you came to check your mail, you could see in the glass panel, see if you had any mail, then you could open it up with the key. So my dad had recycled a bunch of these. We had piles of these all over the place. And today I probably would have saved a few, but back then I got my gloves, I got my glasses, and I got my sledgehammer or whatever hammer it was. And my job was to be able to figure out how to pop each pane of glass and then clean them up afterwards. So I remember there's, 30 years later, it's hard to remember exactly, but I did it all week. Whether I was bad at doing it or there's just that many, I don't know. We can pick one or the other, but I remember busting all of the glass out of those. And it only took a little while to learn that you needed something to catch the glass, because then you're cleaning glass up off of the dirt or the asphalt. So then I started putting a 5-gallon bucket underneath, busting the glass in there, and eliminated cleanup. And to this day, that's how I try to work. I try to learn, how to do as little work as possible so you can do more things. And that's just a tip. So if you're ever cleaning something that creates some type of a garbage or residue, use something to clean it up. I know that I talked to someone recently when they cut their sealed units apart, and many of you do cut sealed units apart. They cut them apart over a barrel because there's always excess oil even after they're drained. So that just eliminates oil all over their shop. So kind of a good idea. And they actually had a cool mesh crate. You can kind of think of like a grilling grate where they would work on top of. So when they were working, they had a stable work area, but the oil would drip through and then into the bucket. It just created a cleaner working environment. And then they had a local company that they could, I don't know if they sold the oil or they dropped it off so they didn't have to pay to get rid of it, but another good thing. So that's kind of the scrap story of the week. Other news, we talked about steel before I started. Steel prices are down another $10 to $15 per ton, and that is across the board on all grades of steel, from bushling to shred to light iron to unprepared to cast to rotors. Everything is down. So now dating back to about March 1st, we're down 50, 60 bucks a ton. And I don't see a real increase coming. In recent weeks, I mentioned the infrastructure project. And I know that Congress and the Senate and passed a big $1.2 trillion infrastructure project a year ago. And it's just starting to be spent, because when you create money, then you need to create a plan to spend the money. Now, what? They need steel and other commodities, copper, aluminum. Yeah, of course they will. They want to build out, all types of infrastructure, from charging stations to replacing bridges. But I don't think that the projects that they're going to be starting, A, are going to move fast enough, B, are going to require enough steel to offset the price decreases. And like we talked about a few minutes ago, if oil prices increase, those diesel prices are going to go up again, and we may see more of a decline on the steel side of things. So I continue to recommend selling your steel as you get it. I know we've mentioned over the last few weeks and months finding a different way to store it. I love seeing some of the pictures on Facebook where people have their trailers. They stack them up with all the carcasses from their air conditioners or refrigerators or washers and dryers, and they run them in. I saw a 10-foot trailer, 12-foot trailer loaded like 8 foot tall, and the guy said he had 4,000 pounds. Well, that's a great thing. 4,000 pounds means you got to run it one time, get a little less than 2 tons out of your trailer, and you didn't have to run in between, and he was able to strip all the non-ferrous. So that was, to me, really cool thing to kind of check out and see. What else is going on? Aluminum prices, nickel prices down. We've seen sheet aluminum prices kind of in that 35 to 40 cent range, 45 cents in some areas. Aluminum extrusions, aluminum 6061, 6063, kind of machining aluminum. Those prices have weakened as well, but we have seen some prices reported for bare 6063 in the 70 to 77 cent range. And if you're looking to learn about what type of aluminum you have, all of our YouTube members get free access to XRF analyses through the iScrap app. So if you're looking to learn what type of metal you have, by becoming a YouTube member, you get an added benefit. You send us a sample, We'll analyze it. We'll send you a couple of pictures what it is. A bunch of people have done that because it helps them learn about different grades of aluminum, especially if you're getting things over and over again. You know, one-off jobs are just that, but some scrapyards are not willing to share their XRF with you or use it to analyze your material. They like to buy it cheap and sell it high. So that's kind of a loss for you. By becoming a member, you get to get an added benefit of learning about your materials. And some people have actually done this for brass versus bronze. You know, we've talked about this in other videos. Brass is more yellow. Bronze is more red because there's more copper inside. But even the guys that I have working for me that sort brass full-time every day, they still need to use the analyzer and they still get things wrong because sometimes they just look so close. Even after you file them or use a grinder, you're not able to tell, but this gives you the ability to tell. Other markets, mostly flat, if not down. You know, we talked about cats and copper and aluminum and stainless. Lead acid batteries, while the lead market has strengthened, we haven't seen huge jumps in the lead prices. We kind of talked about that last week. So, you know, you can see where they're not moving towards more gas vehicles, which means they need less, you know, lead acid batteries. So we have seen the prices jump. We've seen anywhere from 13 to 18 cents a pound for car batteries. If you're getting more, by all means, post those prices online. A couple of people that are preparing their batteries, and this might be a good video that we'll shoot for you. If you're able to prepare batteries in the exact way that the scrapyard would prepare them, generally, scrapyard will give you about 2 to 3 cents more per pound, and that's something I know that we do. So we'll produce a video on how to properly prepare and ship car batteries. This might be something that you may be able to save. And if you tell your scrapyard, hey, I'd like to sell you 2,000 or 3,000 pounds at a time, pre-shrink wrapped on pallets with cardboard, we'll show you what to do. That might be a good way for you to make some more money, and we'll post that in the coming weeks as well. Other than that, scrappers, you know, next week we'll have our weekly report, and the week after we're going to do a first 4-month recap, just giving you an idea of where the markets are over the first third of the year. You know, let us know if there's any other specific prices you want us to talk about, and we'll go from there. My name is Tom. Today is April 26, 2023, and until next week, I'll scrap you later.
Thanks for checking out this scrap video. For more exclusive scrap video content, please become a YouTube member of our channel today. Thank you, and scrap you later.